Welcome back to Psychology Files. You made it this far. But let me ask you something. Was that really your choice? Or was it exactly what I wanted you to do? Because manipulation doesn't just happen in obvious ways. It's hidden in the rules you follow, the beliefs you hold, and the choices you think are yours. In this part, we're going deeper. You'll see how society conditions you to obey, how the illusion of choice keeps you trapped, and how cult leaders, con artists, and even entire governments manipulate your every move. By the end of this, you won't just understand manipulation, you'll start to see it everywhere. Chapter 5. Social Conditioning, the Invisible Hand. From the moment we're born, we're trained to follow rules, conform to expectations, and fit into a system. But what if you've never truly made a choice in your life? What if all along someone or something has been guiding your every step without you even knowing it? This, my friends, is social conditioning at work. The invisible hand that guides you, shapes your beliefs, and controls your behavior. But here's the catch. You don't even know it's happening. From the moment we enter school, we're conditioned. We learn how to behave, what's right and wrong, who we should respect, and what we should fear. We're taught to obey authority, to follow the crowd, and to seek approval. These lessons are ingrained deep within us, often without us ever questioning them. It doesn't stop there. Society constantly bombards us with messages about who we should be, what we should buy, and what makes us worthy. Whether it's advertising, social media, or even conversations around the dinner table, we're constantly being shaped into a version of ourselves that fits the mold created for us. Example 1. Look at this ad. What is it selling you? It's not just clothes, it's selling you an identity. It's telling you that if you wear these clothes, you'll be happier, more popular, more successful. It's conditioning you to believe that buying this item will improve your life. And guess what? You're not choosing for yourself. You're choosing based on what society has told you will make you happy. This is how society conditions you. These messages tap into your deepest fears and desires. Fear of being left out, desire for success, yearning for acceptance. And before you even realize it, you're making choices based on these external influences. Example 2. But it doesn't end with the things you buy. Social conditioning is at play every time you vote, every time you interact with others, and every time you follow the opinions of those around you. Think about it. Politicians don't just present policies, they tap into your fears and values. They condition you to believe in them, to make decisions based on what they've made you fear or desire. But here's the thing you're probably not ready for. What if I told you that in this video right now, you've already been conditioned? Without realizing it, I've shaped your perception, made you more receptive to certain ideas, and subtly triggered your emotions. Every time you agreed with a point I made, every time you felt uneasy or intrigued, that was me working to condition you. And you didn't even see it coming. So the question becomes, who has conditioned you to think the way you do? And why? Who benefits from your blind obedience? Chapter 6. The Illusion of Choice. Are you really choosing? We're all told that we have choices. We pride ourselves on our ability to make decisions, to choose what we want, when we want it. But what if I told you that the choices you think you're making aren't really yours at all? You see, we live in a world that loves to present us with options, to make us feel like we have control over our lives. But look closer, and you'll see that the choices we have are often limited, narrowed down to options that ultimately serve someone else's agenda. Example 1. Take politics, for example. Every election season, we're bombarded with choices. Two candidates, each representing a different path. But let's be real. These choices are often carefully crafted, designed to pit us against each other, to make us believe that we have two options, when in fact, neither may truly align with our needs or desires. They're both part of a larger system that benefits the same powerful interests. Even in something as simple as choosing a coffee, we're being subtly guided. Hot or iced? Which one is really your choice? Or have the marketers behind these choices made sure that you're already leaning toward one option? With each choice, the illusion of freedom takes shape. But is it really freedom if you're being led to make a decision that suits someone else's purpose? Let's dive deeper into this. Consider online surveys or polls. Ever wonder why you're always presented with a series of options? The truth is, these choices aren't really random. They're designed to funnel you toward a specific answer, one that serves the interests of whoever created the survey in the first place. Your vote, your preference, is predetermined by the limited options presented to you. You think you're making a decision, but you're not. Example 2. Dating apps are another prime example. You're presented with hundreds, maybe thousands of potential matches, but each of those matches has been curated for you based on an algorithm that determines who you're most likely to choose. You don't get to pick randomly, you get to choose from a list that has already been narrowed down. In the end, even your free will is shaped by someone else's rules. But here's the real question. Even now, you think you're making choices, right? I've guided you to keep watching this video to make it this far. Every time you agree with a point I make, every time you keep watching, you're not just choosing, you're following a path laid out for you. You've been given the illusion of choice, but how much of that choice is really yours? You think you're in control, but look closely. How much freedom do you truly have? And how much of that freedom is just an illusion? Chapter 7. How Cult Leaders Control Minds. The Power of Belief. What if I told you that the most powerful weapon in the world isn't a bomb or a bullet? It's belief. And the person who controls your beliefs controls your actions, your thoughts, even your very soul. This is the world of cults, where manipulation is taken to an art form. Cult leaders are masters of the human mind. They don't need to force you to do anything. They make you want to do it. They weave a web of belief so intricate that by the time you realize it, you're already caught. Example 1. Consider Jim Jones, the infamous leader of the People's Temple. At first, it was about hope. He gave his followers something they desperately wanted: community, purpose, and belief in something greater than themselves. But as he wove his web tighter, he began to isolate them from the outside world. He became their everything, their father, their savior, their God. And slowly he stripped them of their will until they would do anything for him, even die. This is the essence of cult control: emotional dependency. Cult leaders know that to control people, they must first make them feel emotionally fragile, lost, or incomplete. Only then can they offer the solution. They become the answer to everything. But here's where it gets really disturbing. You might be thinking, this doesn't apply to me. I'm not part of a cult. But what if I told you that the same tactics are being used on you right now, in ways you don't even realize? Example 2. What if I told you that this type of mind control isn't just something confined to the fringes of society? It's happening all around you. Every time you follow an influencer, listen to a charismatic politician, or buy into an ideology without question, you're playing into the same psychological mechanisms that cults use to control their followers. They've just made it feel more acceptable, more mainstream. Even consumerism uses cult-like techniques. These ads don't just sell you a product, they sell you a lifestyle, a belief that if you buy this, you'll belong. And the moment you buy in, they've got you. Because the real product they're selling isn't the item. It's your belief in the brand, your belief in their narrative. Now, let's get real. You think you're immune to manipulation. But do you really know the difference between your own thoughts and the ideas that have been planted in your head? The moment you believe in something, the moment you allow someone to plant an idea in your mind, they have you. And just like those cult members, you may not even realize it. You're not in control. Someone else is pulling the strings, and they've made you think you're making the decisions. Here's the most chilling part. The manipulation doesn't stop with cults, ads, or influencers. You're already being controlled. The moment you stop questioning, the moment you stop thinking critically, you become part of the same system that's been controlling the masses for centuries. You're not free. Not yet. The real question is, how much longer will you let them control your mind before you realize what's been done? Now you've seen it. How control isn't forced, it's designed. How your choices, your beliefs, even your identity, have been shaped without you ever realizing it. But here's the biggest twist of all. Now that you know the truth, what will you do with it? Will you take back control? Or will you keep following the script written for you? If you want more deep dives into the psychology of control, subscribe now. Hit that follow button so you never miss what's coming next. Because once you see manipulation for what it really is, there's no going back.